Davi, I want to put you on the spot.
Oh.
Because here we are 7 years into our working relationship, and you just said 10 minutes ago that you were literally living out of your car at a Waffle House, and we have never heard that before.
Well,
I would love to know the story if you're comfortable telling it. If not, we'll just delete this, and it'll never hear the rate.
I mean, I just never considered it homeless. You know, like I see people out begging for money all the time, and I give them money, and I'm like, that is an everyday occurrence. This was like 2 weeks, so I didn't consider it that. But it was, abusive relationship, roommates getting weird with me and my friends, so I just had to dip, and I had nowhere to go for like 2 weeks. And I don't really have the type of family you can lean on in those situations. Nor did I want to, because every person you lean on, like there's a hidden agenda and like
strings attached.
10, yeah, like everything. So it was best for me to disconnect from everybody. Just a lot of toxic people and bad friends too. Just everything. So I felt really alone and was sleeping in my car. And then I was like, "Ooh, Waffle House is open 24 hours, so I can go in there and like read a book and be around humans."
So have you ever given yourself enough credit for having no backup plan whatsoever, but having the confidence to leave anyway? Like you're like, I would rather be in my car. Most people wouldn't do that, I don't think. They'd stick it out. They'd stay until they had some kind of backup plan.
Yeah.
You put your foot down and you're like, I've got no backup plan, but I do know that this is so dangerous that I'm safer in a Waffle House parking lot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that.
Those cooks will take care of you. They're really kind. They're so awesome. And then like when you are sleeping in your car, they're out there smoking cigarettes, just waving at you. They're not going to call and get you towed or anything. So I made friends with those Waffle House people. But no, I don't think I give myself a lot of credit for it because it just didn't seem like there was any other option. Like I was consistently getting stepped on and knocked down every day, and I didn't think I deserved it. So I left that situation because like growing up, I had to be in that situation. I have no control over it. This was my brothers, my siblings, my parents. Like I had to deal with that until I was 15 and then was on my own. And it just, at that point, I was like 19. And I was like, I said I wasn't going to do this anymore. I wasn't going to let anybody talk to me this way. I wasn't going to live in these conditions. I wasn't going to allow myself to. And when people say those words to you, you repeat them in your own head. So like, even if you're living in your car and they're gone, you're still hearing them and it sticks with you and those things that you grow up with and those things that people say to you. So I was like, I don't like hearing this in real time. I already have to deal with my own like demons in my head repeating it. I just can't be in this atmosphere anymore. It wasn't healthy. It makes you not want to live. So that. It took me to Waffle House.
So while you're living there, did you feel safe? I mean, were you scared? Did you not get any sleep for 2 weeks?
I didn't get a lot of sleep.
I
no.
wouldn't think so. As a woman in her car,
Yeah.
in a parking lot.
No, not a lot. Not a lot of sleep. And there was like weirdos like knocking on the window and stuff. And at that point, I would go for a drive and then come back when they were gone. But yeah, Waffle House has coffee, everything you need.
So after those
nice.
2 weeks, where did you end up?
I moved in with my boyfriend at the time and his roommates for like a month. And then I got my own apartment with another roommate.
So this dude didn't know that you were homeless for 2 weeks before you moved in with your boyfriend?
No.
Whoa.
No. I mean, it wasn't like if they didn't ask, you didn't tell, like, is that what you said? You're like, if nobody was asking me, so I didn't tell them, like, and nobody asked those questions. And it's like, oh, you're wearing the same thing as yesterday. That's a normal thing for 19-year-olds to do, like, that's fine. And no question about it. And I was still showing up for work every day. So it didn't really affect anybody emotionally. And I've always just been very like, I will not give you any information unless you ask for it. Because I don't want anybody to ever go, oh,
And that's not a question you think that's not a question you think to ask somebody. Like, are you living in your car? Like, that's just not a question that's somebody's just going to randomly ask you.
I wouldn't ask, but I think if I was in that situation and I had a girlfriend at the time, I would say, hey, could I crash here? And then how did you finally break it to him? Like, hey, just want to let you know I've been living in the Waffle House parking lot for 2 weeks. If I'm the boyfriend, I'm like almost offended. Like, what?
No.
You could have been here.
I mean, I don't even remember how it came. I was like, yeah, I was living at the Waffle House. Like, I was sleeping in my car and living at the Waffle House, but I was still like I think all that mattered was that I moved into him and his roommate's house for that month or two, and I was like, I have money. I have money for rent. I like what I was working and making at TGI Fridays for these few weeks. Like, I have that for you now. So they didn't really ask questions. They were just like, cool, she has money.
Damn.
And I don't know. I mean, I guess I've been around, like, I have very close friends now that are very involved, and we ask questions and we get very deep and vulnerable with each other. But like at that time in my life, 19, 20 years old, those friends are fair weather. Like, they don't ask the deep questions. They don't really care what's going on. They'll make fun of your hair for looking like garbage that day, but they don't put it together you slept in your car.
Cass?
I mean, knowing what you've told us about your family in the past, like, I feel for you, but I'm not surprised that you felt the need to be independent and not rely on anyone. And probably, like, I wonder if you saw it as like asking for a handout almost, because the fact that you just said when you moved in your boyfriend, you're like, here, I have money. Like, I've always admired that about you, is your willingness to be able to do things on your own and your independence. So I just wonder if that's also just a product, like a byproduct of how you were raised.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate it, because a lot of people, like my therapist, is like, you need to ask for help. She looks at it like a negative, and she's like, you need to ask for help. And I'm like, no, I'm Miss Independence, Kelly Clarkson. And I get so upset, but I get what she's saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it as a negative, but I will say it is beneficial to ask for help.
Yeah.
Help.
No, for sure. I was at Target like a couple months ago, and I crawled into the buggy because I wanted something from the top row. I was getting furniture, like a bookcase from the top row, and I got in the buggy to take this giant box off, and the employee was like, ma'am, ask for help. And I was like, never. Don't you know? I talked about this in therapy last week. I will not.
Did you say to the Target employee, you have no idea. I crashed in a Waffle House parking lot because I wouldn't ask for help.
I didn't get that deep with him. I didn't think we were friends just yet. But
I'm a little stunned. I got to be honest with you. I had no idea. And
Waffle
admire
House
you
will
so
take care.
much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because I'm independent, but I ain't sleeping in no Waffle House.
I'm at least picking a McDonald's.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with Wahoo.
Wahoo is 24/7 open for you.
McDonald's got those really clean bathrooms, though.
The Bert Show.